FCT on on the way forward on this issue?
Well, thank you very much, and it's an opportunity. Let me commend all of you and say Happy New Year. This is the first time we're meeting like this since 2024. The opportunity to update Nigerians as regards the issue of security in FCT. Let me first of all commend the security agencies for the efforts so far being put in place. Security is one of the 8-point agenda of Mr. President. He said that no government, what is sought, can talk about governance if you cannot protect life and property. So the protection of life and property is a key for anybody who aspires to be in government or who presides over governance. FCT is not different. We have had security issues in this country. Various administrations have been able to put in their own efforts, as they say, the best they can. You can also see that the effort being put in place by the present administration. Now, we are talking about FCT as the capital of the nation. And I think that's why most people are being worried. It's not as if what is happening in FCT does not apply in other states. But you see, Nigerians forget easily. And that's why we have always said, let's not play politics with the issue of security. Remember, some time ago, in the last administration, we were told that bandits came to Kuje prison and wreaked havoc. Nobody talked about, nobody said there was no minister of FCT. There was a minister. Nobody talked about FCT being the capital. You remember there was a session where terrorists came and bombed the United Nations building here. It was an FCT. Remember, there was an attempt to burn the police headquarters. There was a minister. Now, what is not peculiar is kidnapping, as far as FCT is concerned. And what had led to that? Remember the fight in Northwest and Northeast. Our security agencies have tried to fight, and they have put heat on them, and so most of them had to run away from the Northeast and Northwest, coming down to the North Central. Abuja is at the center. We have boundaries with 4 states: Kaduna State, Niger State, Nasarawa State, Kogi State. If you follow, these 4 states have been states where issue of insecurity, in terms of banditry, have taken place. You know what has happened in Kaduna, what has always happened in Niger, what has happened in Nasarawa, and what has happened in Kogi State. Now, both of these things that take place in FCT are within the boundaries between FCT and these other states. And of course, you know how vast FCT is. I'm not saying, for example, that is an excuse. Sometimes, all over the world, even in the cities, take, for example, we have had where and men go to schools in cities, in the United States, in Britain, as developed as that. Go to schools and shoot, killing over 15, 16 people. That does not mean that the security in those cities have collapsed. The good thing there is that when it happens, those who perpetrate that crime are caught, and then they are meant to face the wrath of the law. We are not saying here that is it because that has taken place in some city, therefore. But we are saying that there's nowhere in the world, no matter how safe that place is, you will talk of that there's no insecurity. It depends on the degree. So, what we have done in FCT when this thing has taken place was that, what's the mood? How did they do it? We should be able to see how you can give government support. Not when issue has taken place. You generalize it as if it is a daily occurrence. Nobody's happy that kidnapping is rearing its head in FCT. Nobody. But you require the support of everybody. Since that incident happened in Buhari, and we had our first, our first Security Council meeting for this year, and then the president had to summon service chiefs, the Minister of Defense, and my humble self. That I'm not going into details. Of course, it didn't take how many days. Look at the achievements they have achieved. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody has come to commend them. All you hear, security has collapsed.
But Honorable, could it be that people don't know what specific measures have you put in place so that people who go out every day will be sure that, yes, I can confidently step out in FCT any time of the day?
Okay, take for example, when we came on board August 21st, 2023. How many months now? If you look at it, say about 5 months. 5 months. Remember, FCT does not have its own security outfits, unlike other states. What you have here, a question of federal presence. You have the Brigade of Guards, you have the FCT Police Command. Unlike other states have their own security outfits. In case anything will happen, that outfit is like, this is what you're going to do before you fall back to the command. That does not exist in this place. So many facilities are not provided. You can't believe it. Vehicles to these security agencies are not there. You can't believe it. Equipment to track criminals are not there. When it didn't happen, they'll go back to the Office of National Security Advisor or to the police headquarters. That is not the way it's supposed to be.
But contrary, former Minister of Communication said that the NIN-SIM facility that they put in place is not being utilized by security agencies. Not that it's not there.
No, that is not our subject matter. We are talking about...
No, you said facility to track is not there.
I'm talking about our own facility for purpose of security. Take, for example, when I was the governor of Rivers State, the directorate of the state services told me they want one particular equipment. We are the only state that had it then. In fact, sometimes the headquarters ask them that they want to use that equipment. That is a special equipment they needed. And that equipment, we know how expensive it is, but that's not the issue. But we had it, and that was able to help us reduce the level of criminality. Now, it was able to track the specific phone, not this one you have. John, I will give you an idea. Say, for example, the criminals are around the city here, or the office complex. But this equipment is, look, this phone, they will track it, that it is such a particular room. And then they will make sure.
Pocket.
Yes. So the most of the equipment they have within the radius, within this vicinity, that's what they will tell you. But now, having an equipment that would track the phone, not where the phone is.
So the FCC doesn't have it?
they don't have most of the equipment. So what we have done with the approval of Mr. President, giving us emergency procurement, we have been able now to say, look, what does the police want? What do the state services want? Now we're able now to provide for them. Again, before we came on board, the police have said that they have requested for the procurement of certain number of motorcycles where vehicles cannot get to the remote areas. Some of these areas are mountainous. Unfortunately, it was not provided. But we have been able to do that now. And again, you see, security is not just this equipment. You also have to motivate those security personnel who are involved. That motivation alone could make you succeed. I don't want to talk about what are the strategies, because you're talking about security now. You don't let out for the criminals to do. These are the strategies you'll be able to put in place. I look at the laws as FCT is concerned. Take, for example, we have a lot of criminals where you talk about this solar light, for example, and they're being arrested. What's the punishment? What's the sanction? 30,000 naira. That is the offense. You pay 30,000 naira. Obviously. Even if you are arrested and the court tells you to pay 30,000 naira, it is easy to pay 30,000 naira and go back to commit the same offense.
You want stiffer penalty?
What I'm trying to say, legislation should be put in place where it will no longer be easy. If you are caught and the penalty is such heavy, it gives you an option. Look, I don't think I want to participate in this. Where somebody says, if you are caught, an option of 10 million naira, take for example. How many people can afford to go and pay 10 million naira for just one solar panel? So that will be a deterrent. And that's why you say, you as the legislator, you need to amend some of these laws, not to give a loophole where criminals will capitalize on these simple provisions that are made.
Is the situation different in the FCT? Because as a former governor who was also a chief security officer of your state now, a lot of expectations having handled complex security issues in your state, and then now coming to the FCT with these security challenges, some people believe that maybe the approach is different. What is different for you in terms of handling it as a state governor and now as a minister?
Remember, as a governor,
Some
the laws in the FCT.
Remember, as a governor, you are fully in charge. As the FCT minister, you are not fully in charge. You report to the president. You report to the president. You seek approval from the president. All right? In the states, security funds are there to fight security. I found out here it's not the same thing. It's not the same. It's not the same. There is nothing like that.
No security vote.
There's nothing like that here.
Mr. If we'll take it backwards and leave.
So if in one of our meetings, I was amazed to find out what is going on. How do you fight insecurity? How? How do you want to prepare this paper? It goes to this table, it goes to the other table, before it comes out, before the money takes you long time. But in a state, all you can do is to take security fund and call those who are in charge and say, look, we are providing funds for you to tackle this immediate problem. Here is not the same. It's not the same. Two, I can call the state assembly, call the speaker and say that, listen, we cannot allow these kidnappers. We must have to propagate a law where it will be very tough for anybody who is involved in kidnapping. In our own case here, no. You have to get to Mr. President where he sends it to the National Assembly. So you can see the process. It's not as easy as that of the state. It is not as easy as that of the state. But again, the security agencies, as far as I'm concerned, with the little they have been able to put in their best. With what we're doing now, and that's why you see them achieving this result that they're achieving. Some of the things we have now been able to put in place, some of the things that they are lacking, they are now getting. If I tell you, after that period, within 2 days, they got the informants.
But not the kidnappers.
First of all, you have been able to get those who give out information. If you knew what they did, they are to attack 1 or 2 schools. But because they were able to get these informants, that was how they foiled that attack. They've also gotten some of the kidnappers. Of course, you saw when they paraded some of them on the electronic media. You saw how they paraded them. But of course, they have to follow due process. So nobody is sleeping to say, you are not bothered. But what I'm saying is that it is not the way as people, portray it. That's the point I'm trying to. In fact, when people hear it outside, it looks as if you cannot move around FCT. No, as if nothing happens. Everyone are going to his or her room, they don't come out, which is not correct. Most of this outside is at a suburb, mostly within the boundaries of FCT and these other states. So we need a collaboration too between FCT and those states. And we're going out to involve the natives, the area council, is to let them know too that they also have a role to play. Information is key. Information is key. We were able to encourage the area councils to have vigilante groups to be able to give security agencies information. We're able to know firsthand their own peculiarities, their own problems. Take, for example, in Abuja, the area council chairman had told us that, look, some of the problems we're having here, the criminals lodge are the uncompleted buildings. And I said, this was one of the things we're doing in the city here, where some people, in fact, I was surprised when I read the one of the media, where somebody that said is a human rights activist, said part of the criminality is because we are destroying or demolishing shanties. Have you seen how people can turn things around? That demolition of shanties is responsible for the increase in criminality. When I was governor of the state, we found out that most of these criminals take refuge in these shanties. In fact, when we were demolishing those shanties, we were able to recover so many AK-47 because nobody knew that that's where they cause havoc, they go in and stay. You wouldn't know. Until when we demolish those shanties, insecurity started coming down. So for anybody to come out to say that demolishing shanties is one of the reasons why you have increase in criminality, that is not correct.
But Honorable Minister, talking about the shanties, all the states that border the FCT, Kaduna, Niger, Nasarawa, Kogi, all of them have forests.
Yeah.
And these forests over time have become like ungoverned spaces where those criminals, form their own government and operate freely. Are you considering having a kind of initiative, for instance, that will bring together all the governors of of these states to form a kind of security network such that if you are flushing them out of the FCT, for instance, they don't find resting places in forests in Kajuru, in Nasarawa, in Kogi.
Yeah, as I came on board, I saw part of the handover was a decision where the governors of the 4 states and the FCT tried to form a coalition on how they can support each other to reduce the level of insecurity amongst the bordering states and FCT. But that was not implemented. But as I came on board, of course, because of the, when you see new governments have taken place, and then they are having a series of political
Considerations.
election petitions, that of course takes a lot of governors' time. But now that, by the grace of God, some of these things have, they've been settled, most of them are settled, where we will be having our first meeting the next week, which the FCT is going to host the 4 states that border with the FCT in order to fully implement on this cooperation between the 4 states and the FCT. Because if we don't do that, it will be difficult. Because you need the support of Nasarawa State, you need the support of Kogi State, you need the support of Niger State and Kaduna State. And majorly, Kaduna and Niger. There's no day or week you will not hear that the bandits struck in Niger, bandits struck in Kaduna. And when that happens, where did they go to?
The forest.
They go to the forest, bordering between FCT and such states. And when you're talking about forest, you're not talking about forests of about 10 hectares of land. You're talking about forest as in forest that takes over some 1,000 hectares of land. Our soldiers have tried within their capacity. From time to time, they raid this forest, but they can't remain there permanently because you don't have the resources to keep them there permanently, where you even have the personnel to keep them there permanently. So from time to time, now as they move out too, some of these bandits come in again. And then, because they need money, they come out within the boundary areas and then see whom they can now kidnap, and that becomes source of funding for them. But with what we're doing now, and with the support of the various area councils, we think that it will be a thing of the past.
Just a moment, please. I'm meaning to, add as part of the earlier questions. While there's a pushback against the outlaws, even within the city centers, the younger brother of kidnappers are still working, talking about one chance. That those ones are still, operational and they're still moving. Then there's another aspect which comes with it as a handbag. If you begin the pushback, if we establish that, okay, the major, points are at the outskirts, there are some vulnerable communities as well inside, the city centers. For instance, we talk about the area, once you pass about, you come back towards Kuje here. That's at one point or the other, we still keep on getting Chukuku, Kiyi, that road that leads back to Gwagwalada. It seems as if there are some permanent residents there who just wait to grab, in terms of the reports we've had from some of those communities.
I have said before, there's no way anybody can eliminate criminality totally. It is not possible. But what is important is to make sure you proactively take steps that when this occurs, you'll be able to make sure that it is either they are arrested or the people are protected. But if anybody tells you in whichever way you will not have one form of criminality in any city, then the person is not being serious. You are talking about some of these communities, it's a one chance. Remember, there was a time one chance was the issue in this city. We were able to bring it up. What did we do? Well, like I said, it is not everything you have to review. But what we have tried to do now is, which we did not do in December, but which, by the grace of God, by this February, we think we are going to achieve that. We are not going to allow vehicles that are not with FCT color, which is being registered by the FCT, to apply commercially. In that way, you know, this driver is being approved by the FCT, and the buses or the taxis are approved by the FCT. So you as a passenger will not take the risk of going to enter a vehicle that you don't even know.
Would that apply to Uber and Bolt?
Uber will have to be registered too. It has to. Who are these drivers? We need to certify them. You need to profile them by the security agencies. This is a city. If you don't have rules, it will be a problem. I'm surprised to know that as a city like this, FCT does not have a loading terminal where I can say, I'm going to Yaya, for example. I'm going to whichever. This is the terminal that takes charge of those going to Yaya. You know the drivers there. You know the vehicle that you are entering. Everybody is just on the road. You are going to Yaya, a car is on the road, you enter. You are going to a car is on the road, you enter. You cannot have, as a city, not one. Now, what we are trying to do, by the grace of God, in this fiscal year, is to at least start with 3 terminals, so that we know the buses and taxis that will carry people from such terminals. Nobody takes that risk to go on the road again and wait for a taxi. No. In that case, you'll be able to reduce crime. You'll be able to reduce crime. I am not saying that with the provision of all this, there will be no one crime. No, it is not possible. And people must tell you the truth. If anybody tells you that you will not have one crime committed, it is not possible.
Honorable Minister, sir, so let me take you back. Talking about our collaboration with other states.
Yes.
In 2007, there's a committee that was formed, G7, where all the commissioners of our 7 states within the North Central and the Northwest formed in order to stamp insecurity within the region. With the latest happening in the territory now, would it be that the security agent are overwhelmed with that it's not the bandit or kidnappers?
Well, I'm not talking about North Central. I'm talking about the 4 states that we have boundary with, and which I have.
The G7.
It's not G7. It's only 4 states that border with us: Niger, Kaduna, Nasarawa, and Kogi. And I don't believe in, for the purposes, let people see that. Well, if you, okay, take for example, if you want it to work, for example, we and Niger, we and Kaduna has its own peculiarities. Niger State has their own peculiarities. So also Kogi and Nasarawa. So in our alliance, we look at what will work with us and Kogi. We look at what will work with the peculiarities, with what will work with Niger State, and then with what will work with Kaduna State. Are we going to form a joint security outfit with these states, or just to share intelligence? Now, it will also mean that not only FCT providing the states affected must also provide support, logistic support, and other equipment necessary to fight a crime. If that is not done, not just coming together, having a meeting, discuss and you go back. It couldn't work. There must be practical steps to show that you really mean business. In the next few weeks, yes, you may say that alone cannot totally eliminate crime, but that will in a long way reduce crime. We want to go another. You can't believe it. The police divisions don't have vehicles. You can't believe it that in all these areas there's no buffer stations where you can communicate. Assuming there's a crime in Gwagwalada, communication is difficult. To let people here know, see what is going on. And this is what we have come to realize. And we have no choice to see that these things are provided in those area councils. If you follow the normal procurement process, it will take you time. What I did in River State was to make sure that every local government has a buffer station that they can communicate with the state, a capital, in case there's any crime going on. And they need support from the city. That is very, very important. And you can imagine where a police station cannot have one vehicle. Then you know that was a serious problem. How could you ever believe such? And I told the area council chairman, you also have a responsibility in terms of security. You are the chief security officer of your own area council. What have you done? It is not about FCT. You should also provide some of these logistics to the various security agencies. But again, when it has happened, nobody talks about area councils. What we talk about is FCT. Yeah. It's like that. Teachers are supposed to be on strike. Nobody talks about which of the teachers. Is it the primary education or the secondary? It is responsibility of the area councils to deal with primary education, right? While that of the state is secondary and then tertiary. Now, but when teachers are going on strike, nobody bothers to say, oh, it's the responsibility of area council. What do we do as an FCT? We saw that these area councils are owing teachers up to a certain amount of money, and they're on strike. We said, okay, listen, even though it is not within our purview, but we can't fold our hands and allow teachers to go on strike. Therefore, area councils, you are going to provide certain percentage of this fund. The FCT would help by providing so percentage, and that was acceptable. Ordinarily, if we follow constitutionally or by form or by responsibility, it will be difficult. But nobody cares to hear that. Okay. And it is we can just say we're FCT and then you allow teachers to go on strike.
But Honorable Minister, I just don't want us to stray away from security issues.
That's what we're coming back to.
I just said, I just said that. To know that you as area council, you have responsibility in terms of security. Exactly. That was why I brought that example.
But when it comes to security, sir, there's always not enough fund to spend. That's what experience has shown. Because you just told us that you had to seek presidential approval.
There's never been enough fund for anything.
Yes. Are you therefore considering the setting up of a security trust fund, for instance, that will make everybody equal stakeholder in funding security issues? A security trust fund along the line of what you have in Lagos, for instance, such that you have a security fund that was rich enough to even buy helicopters for the purposes of fighting crime. Are you considering something like, because this is the FCT?
Now you should also know very well, like I said, this is not like a full state. You can't just wake up in the morning, just like a governor can do, and say, look, we are going to have a security trust fund. There must be a law backing it. And that law has to be passed by the National Assembly. I don't think the problem now is basically the funding. We have not said that we have enough money, and we have not said that we don't have money to support the security agency. I told you that I've just been in office for 5 months, and this is what I have identified, that even if you are talking about security fighting crime, how would they fight crime when the basic equipment are not there for them? The basic logistical support is not there for them. I said, as a governor, the state director would tell me, look, we have social problem. All I do is to say, okay, what do we do? He said, look, he needs the support to tackle all this. I fall back to the security. Here, there's nothing like that. I'm just trying to say, you know the difficulties too. Okay, assuming Mr. President did not approve this emergency procurement. We have gone to Bureau of Public Procurement since December to allow us to procure under emergency. If you don't, you're allowed to go the whole of the processes. It can take you 2 months. And yet, that's not what you tell members of the public. The procurement process is a problem. No. No. And the basic thing, they haven't identified all this. And the security agencies have told us, look, this is what we require now. We have even gone further to ask the office here of the State Security Service, what kind of equipment do you want in order to aid? Not you. If anything happens, you move to your headquarters. Before you get to your headquarters, something else would have happened. But if you have this equipment and there's a crime, you don't need to seek approval for your headquarters for them to begin to use the equipment to begin to see how they can trace them. And what we're trying to do is to set up a joint security outfit here where they have their own structure, have their own equipment, so that if anything of such happens, that task force will know it is their function to move in. Yes, it's going to cost us some funding. Yes, it's going to take us some time. But what is important is that we have identified that this is a lacuna that has not been, make sure that this lacuna is being covered.
Honorable Minister, just looking at some of the things you have established, we talked about bandits coming in and threatening, and some of the intelligence gathered showed that some, schools may have been affected, based on some of the intelligence gathered from those who are arrested. Are we putting our schools back on high alert based on this? Because it means it shows as if the bandits have not changed their modus operandi.
Okay, you see, that's one of the reasons why we hardly don't want to give out. Because for what you said now, you are in the alarm now. And these are the things we try not to.
No, it's alert, not alarm.
No, it's not alarm. See, let me tell you, so ordinarily, I would have kept it to ourselves. Ordinarily. But now, I don't give you a hint. Now you have now said, oh, what have you done to provide security for the schools? All I told you, the efforts of our security agencies, and that effort has yielded in getting the informant who had told us what their plans were. And you should have known too that we have also taken steps. But I don't want you to over-labor on that and begin to cause unnecessary panic. That's why when the press people want to get information, we're reluctant of giving out information. Okay. All we tell members of the public.
All right, we will use this one. We will use this one judiciously. We will use this information judiciously.
Look,
Honorable Minister,
don't need to panic. Everything is being done to make sure that protection of life and the property. Because
we appreciate
the
that.
more you tell members of the public, the more panic.
No, but there could be threat levels. Yes. So when they understand those levels, they can then mitigate whatever.
No. Let me tell you. Let me tell you what happens. Mind you too, some of these things are political.
This what?
Let me tell you.
Kidnapping?
No, let me tell you. The so-called alarm. You don't know.
Why do you say so?
Let me tell you, some politicians are bent on making sure the government does not survive. And how do you do it? By creating unnecessary tension. By carrying propaganda that something just happened there. They tell you it has happened 25 times. You must understand how our system works. There are those who are blackmailers who are paid. They are paid. Tell me, how am I going home on a Friday? Do you understand what I'm saying? How does it affect you not taking security serious?
They say you're distracted, and that's why you can't focus on FCT security.
Distracted what?
By reverse politics.
What is the politics? So the only time the kidnapping is when I'm not around or Saturday. So they don't kidnap Monday to Friday when I'm around. So these are the things we tell you. So you now see that is political.
Honorable Minister, we have just about 15 minutes to go, and we still have a lot to discuss with you. But my colleague from Vanguard, right? Nan, has a question, and then, of course, the Vanguard colleague also has.
So far, and with the results we see, there's also an issue because insecurity has always been linked, poverty has been linked to one of the drivers of insecurity. What is FCTA doing actually to, address the issue of poverty so that we don't have the reoccurrence of people who are actually into criminality because of poverty, because they remain in poverty going back?
Well, you cannot talk about poverty without talking about the economy. If the economy is good, it means a lot of things will function well, and that will be able to reduce poverty. When the economy is working well, there will be a lot of employment creation. When the economy is good, businesses will thrive. Right? Now, so it's not peculiar to say as an FCT, you will reduce poverty of FCT when you are tied to the larger economy. You don't have your own economy per se to take that. You take economic decisions that will only affect the economy of FCT. So when people talk about, okay, we can tell you now, okay, yes, we'll go to agriculture, for example, in order to create a job. We'll go to skill acquisition in order to create job. We'll set up ICT, right? These things are not done within 2-3 months. It will still take you time before you start having the impact on reducing the level of poverty. For me, government is giving us palliatives on how to cushion the hardship. If now we bring in our buses and taxes and we are saying, look, we are trying to cushion the effect of removal of fuel subsidy. And we are saying, okay, these vehicles will be free, for example. You are trying to save money for the people to utilize it in other areas of their needs. Right? That, in a way, is a portion of reducing poverty. But for me, poverty as a whole cannot be eradicated completely if the economy is not doing well. And from what I'm saying the government is doing, which is not my own area, the government is putting a lot of, and we must understand where we are coming from. How was it? People look at it as if this government has to do magic, like a miracle. Something that has been very, very bad for years. For years. And government is taking measures, which measures appear to be very hard on the people. But it's measures that will, at the end of the day, in the long run, will boost the economy. So many people cannot afford to wait. So many people are not patient. And that's what government said, look, it's unfortunate. We have to be patient. We have to make sacrifice. Because knowing where we are coming from, it's not something you can do it overnight. And that's what.
Yes, two very short questions, sir. The attack on the estate in Dusi, where 2 hotel staff were picked. I was there yesterday. I went to that hotel. And the attack on the Saguari layout in Dusi.
Okay.
Yes, where 2 hotel staff were picked. I was in that hotel yesterday. I discovered that there were no CCTVs as big as the place was. Would you be disposed to having a law in place mandating big estates and business owners to have CCTVs? Then registration of motorcycles. In Kogi, where I come from, motorcycles are registered, but here it's like it's a kilometer.
Added to that, just added to that. There's this conversation in the FCT. People are talking about the need to take up arms and protect themselves. I don't know if you've heard that, because they say it appears security agencies are not doing enough to secure lives and property. What would you say to those group of people?
Is propaganda.
You can answer him first.
I'll answer you first. That is propaganda. That is blackmail. When we came here, people said everything in Abuja has collapsed. The refuse are taking over the place. No street light, no road. Right? People are saying so. How many of you have even come out to commend us that in these 5 months you have been in office, we have seen changes? All you do is pick one that has not been solved or that appears to be the problem then. You forget the ones that government have put effort and which are yielded results. It has not gotten to. Even when there was insurgents in Northeast and East, such people, has anybody canvass for people that carry and take up arms to defend themselves? That there are 1 or 2 kidnaps. I've told you, you cannot stop total crime. Let one person tell me, as a professional, as an expert, that there's anywhere in this world where there's zero crime. Tell me where. Even in where you are caught, they amputate your leg, or you go to prison immediately, there's still crime. So it is difficult for people to say, because kidnapping has happened last night, or 1 or 2 places, therefore there's insecurity in the whole of FCT. That is not correct. You've talked about CCTV.
Yes.
When we're discussing about CCTV in Abuja, and we look at it, the chief of army staff, we're all talking. You know what somebody said? Go and put the cameras. Our people will go and vandalize it. Go and put the cameras now on the road. People will go in the night and vandalize it. Our own people, you are providing security. We are telling you of solar light. Solar light. Go and put solar lights now. In the midnight, 2 a.m., people will go and vandalize it. Look at the roads that are being constructed. For you to have a good road, see how people will go and remove the manholes. Now you ask yourself, what security will you put in place? How many security personnel do we have? To now say, you all mount on the road to check those who are coming for the stealing of this mango. You know, it's okay. Let us even put in some vigilantes. We are sure that some of the vigilantes are not those who are carrying out such actions. So, all we have said is that you said about the estate.
Yeah.
Yes, and hotels.
And hotels, look, we can't carry everything in this time. Even when you say the law, you have to go to National Assembly. And you know the process of making laws. You know the process. How many bills, as per FCT, that have been passed there and have been assented? This one we are talking about Civil Service Commission. This bill was assented in 2018. When 2024 is not correct. How many years now? 6. Has any government implemented that for 6 years? until this present administration.
But one of your officials in FCT told us that in FCT, that there's a law that mandates private and public individuals to have CCTV in their premises, and the FCT was going to enforce that.
If anybody told you, can you say, let the person cite the law? It's not to say that the law. Can the person cite the law?
So it doesn't exist in FCT.
As far as I'm concerned, nobody has brought it to my knowledge to say this. Like when somebody brought to my knowledge this law establishing FCT Civil Service Commission. I said, how can that be? Let me see the law. I looked at the law. I wrote a memo to Mr. President. This is the law. We have to implement it. It doesn't matter the difficulties. If we don't implement it, how do we know the loopholes? This law was fought.
Okay.
But so that to explain, it is not easy. Was fought by those who have been head of service. Why? Everybody wants to post permanent secretary from the federal ministries to FCT, making sure nobody in FCT rises to be a permanent secretary. A law meant well for people start from this place. Somebody sitting up. No, such law will not see the life of the day. So there are things that people take personal, which is not necessary. If you can provide such law for me now, even the implementation alone, you were here when I came on board, and I said, uncompleted buildings, lands allocated to you in very hot, very choicy areas, right? It's not been developed for how many years? Which city in this world can you go to see where land undeveloped? Except green areas where it has been marked for as green areas for the beautification of those areas. But here, criminals take advantage of such land and convert it to those. And when you have come to say, look, we will not allow this again. What happened? I'm sure most of you were used to send, Abuja is not the same like River State. You cannot do this. These are the kind of things we see in government. You take a step to correct certain anomalies. People come back to say, no, let us not allow them to do that.
Sir.
Yes.
We have definitely gone above 1 hour. So let's just try and see if we can extend for another 30 minutes.
Okay, yes.
Within that 30 minutes, within that 30 minutes, there are critical areas that we need to cover.
Yes, but just
we need to cover the area of infrastructure development in the FCT, the road renaissance and everything that is going on. We'd like you to speak on some of those projects. Give us an update on some of the those that are nearing completion and those that you already promised to deliver to Mr. President to mark his 1 year in office and all of that. But I'm sure I will also not resist the temptation to talk politics. So but also be prepared to
before we get to that bit. Politics. It came across, Honourable Minister, that you're suggesting that we will abandon the 440 million naira plus CCTV project in the FCT because people are vandalizing it.
No, that is not.
Is that what's going to happen?
No.
That's what Senator Kingibe said yesterday.
No, hold on. See, we have never embarked on. That was police project. It is not FCT project. That's the she does not have information. It is not just coming out on national television. You begin to say what you don't have facts on. Let us show you the contract that was awarded to FCT for the provision of CCTV camera. It is not correct. And that the mere fact that a senator representing FCT does not give you the opportunity to go on national television to say whatever you like to say. I mean, if you have a problem, as like I said here, you're a senator. Instead of legislation, how many bills have you proposed as to helping the FCT to tackle some of these things I'm talking about? Sanctioning. Somebody is caught stealing our solar light, and the provision of the law says
20,000,
10,000 or 20,000. Can that be a deterrent to such act?
Senator says you're not reachable, so you can't communicate with you.
What is he reaching me for? Listen, when people say Carry along, carry it to where? I don't look. I was appointed before I was sworn in. Mr. President has given portfolios before we were sworn in on the 21st of. She had written me a letter. She wants to see me the next day. I said, I don't even know about the FCT. I've not gone there. I don't even know where my office is. Not to talk about knowing the departments and the roles of the place. So if I see you, what am I going to tell you? Why not let me assume a face? And then know how the place is, and then be able to say, look, I found out how this place is. My problems are this. Can you, through legislation, see what you can do to better the life of the residents of FCT? Everybody wants you as an FCT minister. Sit down with me. Talk this to. I'm not available for that. I'm not available.
Perhaps she wouldn't be better if she's not seeing you with the former senator.
Fine. Now tell me. You tell me, you will determine because you're a senator. You will determine who will be my friend. What kind of country are we in? That this man.
Everybody sees Senator, I do that with you, inspecting projects and all of that. Perhaps that's part of what is fueling the anger of the sitting senator.
Who's right? It's my right to say, Joseph, come and follow me out. There's no law that says because you are the senator from that area that you must follow me out. No.
Yeah, don't you think it's also important to sit with her in terms of fine tuning how you can get legislative backing for some of the things you intend to do in the FCT?
Okay, fine. That's what I expected. The first time we went for supplementary budget in National Assembly, you know what she did? You don't even ask questions. You are done, and her colleagues sustained that why are we spending money in gigantic projects? I said, define what is gigantic.
Vice President's house.
Now, a government awarded Vice President's residence in 2010, and abandoned the project. Public funds. Now you want us in a city to allow some projects to just stay like that, then it will not be criminals like that. Or you tell me to go and demolish. I said, look, what is supposed to be done? Complete these projects. If the VP is not going to do it, it cannot be converted to another thing. But not to say, spend money, leave it there, turn to criminal hideout. Then tomorrow you say that criminality in the FCT. You don't know what you are doing in terms of education. Like I said here, when you go and see primary school, as far as you're concerned, you will say primary schools in FCT is nothing to write home about. And I said, whose responsibility in terms of primary school is not the area council? But because the public is not interested to know whose responsibility, all the public knows FCT. Now we have taken steps. As I speak to you, procurement has started. We are taking, you see, it's not just, I told my procurement people, I said, look, I'm not interested in put 50 million naira here in this school, put 100 million naira there. At the end of the day, what have you achieved? If you are doing a school, take a school, do that school, and people will say, this is school. And then you know you are done with that. So if you are taking like 20 schools in a year, for example, and you put funds, and people know, go to these 20 schools now in FCT. That's what is called a school. The next year, you can take 20 or 30, right? You cannot say you will finish everything pertaining to schools in a year. Even if they make you FCT minister for 10 years, you cannot. We are doing that. Look at it. This is the first time where you can see roads going on in the area councils. As I came on board, I said, look, each area council must nominate a road, not less than 5-6 kilometers, to be embarked upon by this administration. As I speak to you now, 6, each area council, go and say whether they'll
be commissioned this year.
We are praying, and you know again, when were these funds released? You remember, I just said to the press that we have received the supplementary budget of the National budget, 50%, and we're applying those 50%. The decision is 10 naira is to go to the project. That's why it was done. But if they had allowed us, for example, giving us a 50 billion, now you choose priority where you can put in this 50 billion, you'll be able to achieve something. But having specified that 10 naira, put it in metro line, 20 naira, put it in social place, that 20 naira or 10 naira may not be enough to achieve what you want to achieve in those areas.
So in specific terms, sir, taken from his question,
Yeah.
are we still on course on those promises in the last?
Yes.
Projects?
Okay, let me tell you, yes. So many, yes. Yes, I can tell you there are so many.
Because you told us that you have how you are going to spend IGR to ensure that those projects
that is
get
when-
adequate funding.
See, that is when our statutory budget comes in. Our statutory budget hasn't come in for 2024. Do you understand me? What we're having now is the old budget that we are implementing. And mind you, these things were not there. Right? Now, what we have done now, one, we believe that Metro Line will be ready
When?
for May. What we are now battling is the access roads from those communities to get to those various stations. And most of the roads will be ready. But my take was that, look, all the roads, access roads to the Metro Line stations would all be ready. These projects were awarded before I came on board, but were abandoned. And I said, look, how do you deal with Metro Line? How will those communities get to those stations? It does not make sense. So, what we'll do, focus on these access roads from communities so that they can now use the Metro. I mean, it does not make sense somebody from Kubwa to drive all the way down here to enter the Metro Line that will take him down to. It doesn't make sense. So, we are concentrating on that. As I speak to you, so many landmark projects. You see the one going to the villa, the one carried out by CGC. By this May, the president will commission it. This project was awarded when? As far back as 2003, 2007. Abandoned. Look at the B6, B12. Was awarded in 2009 to Julius Berger. I sat down and said, look, we can't continue having all projects awarded, variation, not one is completed. I said, no. Berger, you have to complete this. As I speak to you, B6 and B12 will be commissioned. Look at the one down from the Christian Center, call it a Southern Way, by Esatako. Will be completed. Look at the N20 done by Gilmore. Will be completed. Look at the one done by this company. Salini will be completed. Look at Guzepe 2. Over 40 kilometers is a district. Will be completed and commissioned. These are projects I did not, or this administration did not award. All of us, we are all witnesses that all these projects have been abandoned. These VP's residents will be commissioned in May. In fact, look at the residence of the principal officers of National Assembly that was awarded since 2010. Go and see it. Nothing has happened.
Have you awarded any new ones in the administration?
No, I have not. There's not one project anybody will say, no, not one. All projects are old projects. The only one you can say under my administration is this 6 area council roads. Okay. That's one they came to talk to me that they said, I don't know, they call it Sasabini or what, in Robochi. It was awarded 17 kilometers, no mobilization. I said, why? They said, well, I said, why in the first place, why did they award it without cash backing it? It doesn't make sense to me. As I speak to you, just 1 week ago, they've been mobilized. And by the time we go for this 2024, statutory budget, you will see the way projects are to be implemented. No project will be awarded without cash backing. And not just cash backing a project. A project that will cost you 30 billion, you go and put in a project 500 million. Do you have intention to complete such a project? All you are doing is to create an avenue for people to bring variations and make money. How can a project, the cost of a project is 30 billion naira, and then what is in the budget is 500 million naira? So in 10 years, you're talking about 5 billion. So you can see such projects will not have its way. So what we are trying to do now is, look, which are the projects for 2024? For me, no project will take more than 12, 13, 14 months. I will not allow such projects. And what do? Listen, what is our IGR? Maybe, working hard. We are expecting we should get up to 300 billion a year. Working very hard, right? Now, what stops us? In calling banks, listen, we have calculated our projects for this year. I think we are going to spend not less than 200 billion, for example. Give us this money for 3 years. Bank A, every month, this amount you take, for example. Bank B, every month, this amount you take, right? Now, what has it helped me to do? I have funds available with me now to give that to the contractors to go and do their work. Well, that is the advantage we have under this, putting up on the TSA, what Mr. President did. If we did not do that, we cannot. All we will be doing is, assuming we get 15 billion in a month, you have to share that 15 billion.
Those
200 billion, 1 billion. Sometimes they have their ragaton team. They put this one there. They put their based on contracts. Look,
you mentioned
so many things, so that you see the importance of this. Many companies will be willing because there is fund for them to do their job, and you will see the happiness. First of all, you have succeeded in providing infrastructure. They have succeeded in making their
own profits.
Their own profit.
On time.
Or whatever it is. You can get all. What is our own business? Satisfying our people. Providing the basic infrastructure. What is one for the businessman? The little profit he can make. And also keep his company. No. Employment is there.
So when we start on this year's budget?
This one?
This year's budget of the FCT.
This is not for you. The budget has started, the preparation has started. But what is important is we will submit it to Mr. President. Mr. President will now convey it to National Assembly for them to deliberate upon it. And but like I said, we have good intentions to change FCT. Okay. But it also requires the support of all of you. All of you. Why you entitled to say, look, this areas look into it. You also entitled to commend the government. These areas you are doing very well. But not every day what you see on pages of newspaper, and it's very, very bad.
After the commissioning of those projects, and we have this gathering here like this, it will be all commendation for you that
especially when the buses, the CNG buses you promise these people of FCT.
It's coming. You see, these things are not, you see, first of all, you're dealing with a bureaucracy. You're dealing with bureaucracy. Bureaucracy, you know what it takes. This CNG buses is not manufactured here too. It has to come in from there somewhere. But before that time, we have provided some palliatives, like buses and some taxis that will reduce. And when we do that, we're not going to allow Keke Napep to be around these city areas. No.
And Okada.
We don't use Okada. Okada is the area council. But the point we're making is that, people say, oh, there's so much hardship. I agree. But is that hardship why people should kill us? No. That's what we're talking about. Insecurity. You can't tell me because they're hardship, then you will allow you to go and commit crime and kill somebody. Nobody does that. Some of these kidnappers are used by informants. I was out last night around 11 p.m. I was moving around and I called the person in charge of the street light, said, Averted, the Abuja. And he said, look, I said, why is there no light here? Why is there no light here? He said, sir, this one is dedicated to Abuja electricity, the
AEDC.
I said, so what's the problem? He said, they have a problem. I said, but what I expected you to have done is to go to the public. Look, there will not be light within this period. The ADC, they're having a problem. So that the public is aware. You don't say that and just keep quiet. And somebody passes there and says, everywhere is dark. But if you have communicated that to members of the public, they would have known, no, this is why we have this. Then I now ask him, okay, what about when we have the solar lights? He says, sir, it's a major problem for us. As I speak to you, most of those solar lights have been vandalized. Sometimes it comes from even the supplier themselves. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. But we won't, because of that, we will not do what we're supposed to do. If I tell you the contract I've been awarded, the debt that is on this FCT is not less than 1 trillion naira. And that's it. This country, a road project takes 10 years, 15 years. If you are awarded VP's resident 7 billion naira in 2010, tell me how as a country I cannot use one IGR to say every month, give Johannesburg, for example, their 1 billion naira. That job will be completed in 1 year's time. What is the success story in Port Harcourt? It's not as if the whole money is there. No. What we did, like I told you here, simple. We dedicated our IGR, certain percentage, to the banks, and they gave us money. And the companies were willing. That was why, from 2019 to 2023, I left office to deliver 12 flyovers. From 2019 to 2023, 12 flyovers. Not just 12, with other rules and other facilities. It is that arrangement. But if I had waited, no, as it comes in, sometimes the allocation that comes, salaries and this and that, what will remain? I cannot carry a significant.
Honorable Minister, our time is up. But like I said,
you have consumed the 30%.
But like I said, it's all over. Like I said, it's all calm now in Rivers. So that's why we just say, okay, we spend very little time on Rivers issues. Unlike the last time when we were here, we know that the situation is a lot calmer now. But then we still cannot resist asking you questions on what the current situation is between you and your successor. Chamberlain, is there a way you want to fight you?
Now, that question you ask
Which one?
does not show that you want peace in that area. Because you people bring, when there's nothing, you go and...
There was a lot that time.
Is there peace now?
There was a lot that time.
people were running away from the state.
No, I mean between
Political
politically,
peace.
sir, not about unrest.
Is there any election coming up now?
No, because the last time you said, I have fulfilled my own end of the arrangement, the bargain, the president.
No, don't use that.
No, you said you fulfilled your own end of the bargain.
We have.
Does that we include all parties?
I said, look, you have people that saying, do this and do that.
Yeah.
And president said, okay, you go and do this. That which pertains to where I am, I say it has been done. That shows, yes, we have done our own part and peace is there. So if you see the other people, you ask them whether have they done their but I don't think that the mere fact that two people disagree means there's a crisis in the state. You people promote the crisis because something that does not exist. How you manufacture, how you come about it.
Minister, if he was not there, why did the president intervene?
No. Let me tell you why. No. See, let me tell you why. President is an elder statesman. If he's not, mind you, he's an opposition party. I mean, the APC, which is opposition then in the state. Right? Now, he would have capitalized on that to do anything. Rather, he said, no. I need peace here. Just there, I need peace everywhere. Is that the first area he has intervened? He intervened on those states. We're forgetting all these things. After he looks as if it was only in Rivers.
All right. Your Excellency, forgive us for promoting the crisis in Rivers.
No, we didn't. We just reported what happened.
No, let's agree that we promoted it. But there's peace now. Your Excellency, you have just...
Ask what happened.
Oh, okay, hold on.
When you say there is peace, all you would have done said, we commend you people for the peace. Don't come and ask me, is that peace now?
Okay.
Which means all you are looking for there not to be peace.
Okay.
But if you say, we commend you
for the peace,
then I would have said, which peace?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's peace.
Okay.
You start from the positive, not from the negative. So as far as I'm concerned, there is peace. Okay. Assembly is doing their work.
All right.
Executive is doing their work. Judiciary is doing their work.
And you have your structure back.
Yes.
About assembly very quickly. This morning we understand that the budget has been approved by the High Court. That it's no, there's a
It's not
story in that.
It's not High Court. You too.
Federal High Court.
It's not High Court.
Federal High Court.
You see, report what is correct. High Court is different from Federal High Court. Tomorrow they say it's the FCT High Court.
Okay.
Or you know that is the Minister of the FCT. That is the interpretation you give tomorrow. That matter was there before the president intervened. So at the end of the president said, you present the budget. Okay. And consent nullified. Is anything?
All is well now.
As far as I'm concerned, all is
well.
All is well.
All right. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. We really appreciate your time today. Almost 2 hours now or more, actually. Yeah. Thank you so much for the time. Hopefully, maybe we may still have another time before the round of commissioning of projects to mark the president's 1 year in office.
We will not disappoint you.
All right. Guys?
All right. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We also like to ride on that rail.
Well, pray for us that we're alive.
All right.
And I believe we'll be alive. And obviously, it's our intention to make a difference as far as the FCT is concerned. Well, there will be challenges in life, but you having the will, the capacity to surmount. I mean, people should, there's no, even as a human being, you have challenges every day. Not to talk about governance. There must be challenges. But the willingness to surmount those challenges, that is what is important. Sure. And when you say a government that is doing everything they can to surmount such challenges, the only thing we can do is to give them support. Criticism is there, but not everything you criticize if nothing is being done. And that's why I said those ones are, blackmailers, political criticism. I mean, it's not necessary. Once something is being done well, say it is being done well. Identify areas that the administration should be able to look into, not in a way that you are trying to bring down the government. Everybody wants to take correction. Everybody. In fact, assuming this thing did not happen, anyway, probably, I don't know. You see, it has given me the opportunity to visit. Yes, when I was the Minister of State Education, I visited virtually every school in all the area councils. But I didn't go to the communities to have interface. But this thing has given me an opportunity to now interface with the communities and really find out what their own problem, peculiar problems are. And that's how governance is supposed to be. Most of what people cry, those there, that's not what they're asking for. They're asking for the basic things that made them go and carry their goods to go and sell. They're asking for the basic things. Look, it was when I went to Abuja that I knew that there was a general hospital that had been abandoned for many years. I just discovered Otako Hospital. And these are things, for me, I'm going to pursue them. They are going to be core projects that will put in 2024 budget. And you ask yourself, here in the past 8 years, what was done? And having not done those things, we are just starting from scratch. So you don't expect us overnight to have changed everything. As you are tackling this problem will also come up. As you are tackling this problem, you have other problems. So you don't look at it that a government will solve the whole problem within 5 months of being in office. 5 months. You are doing it as if I've stayed in this office for almost 2 years. I don't know how hungry you are. You want to do quickly. Let it be the way it happened in the rivers. But it will come. Step by step. With the support president has given to this since I came here. You see what will happen. Has anybody told you that so money has come and they announce it? Mention where I said our budget is 10 naira. 5 naira has come. Mention. So
you don't have a project. You don't have a project accountant.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. The interview is over.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. But
So since it's over,
yes, you can continue your job.
yes, you don't have FCT doesn't have.
Even if I have project supervisors, that does not mean that I should not have on my own. Nobody tells me how much for this project. As I sit here, every contract going on, I know. So you can't take me unawares. When you bring a file for me now, he said, Inspectorate Division has started.